Barnstable This Morning, just about 8 minutes past the top of the hour. On this Tuesday morning, I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone, I welcome our Chief of Police, Paul MacDonald. Chief, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, Chief, I want to start. Why don't we run down? Of course, it was a very busy weekend in our various villages, holiday strolls all over the place, and beautiful weather. So I'm sure lots of people at every single one of them, as it was in the Hyannis one where I was at.
It was a great turnout. Most of the strolls did happen last week. Barnstable was last Wednesday. Hyannis was Saturday. Marston Mills, Centerville, and then West Barnstable had the tree lighting, and they were all very, very successful. There was a huge crowd at each and every one of them. There were no problems at all. But I was most impressed with the Main Street Hyannis one. There was a huge turnout there for that one. Then after that one, on Sunday night, I went down to Centerville for a little while. It was earlier this year. It was from 3 to 6 on Sunday afternoon, and there was a huge turnout down there too, as well as in Barnstable Village. So it was a great event for everyone. And of course, the last strolls comes up this Friday over in the village of Osterville, and that's usually a good turnout for that one too. So I hope the weather holds out for them.
Indeed. And Chief, for Friday, are there any road closures in Osterville that people need to be aware of?
No, Osterville, there is road closures. The whole downtown is closed from the area of Main Street and West Bay Road down by Wimpy's. It's closed there all the way up to the other end by Parker and Main Street where it's closed there. So that whole area, the triangle there, Weano Avenue and Main Street, that whole area is closed down pretty tight. But there's bands down there. The streets are all crowded. So it's a great occasion. There'll be a number of police officers down there to reroute everyone around the center. And there's really not much of a problem down there.
Wonderful. Good to hear. And as you were mentioning before we got on the air, pretty quiet in terms of police action over the past week. Let's talk a little bit about
It's been quiet for the last 5 or 6 weeks. It's been very, very quiet down here. Crime is down. That's real good news. The call volume is still there. Last 6 days we handle about almost 1,000 calls. On the average week we handle about 1,100 to 1,250 calls per week. This week was a little bit less, right around 980,000 calls. But we're busy. But it's just a routine call, general calls for service, helping the public. The Part 1 crimes are down significantly. There were 22 arrests made, and that's down. Usually we average up between 30 and 40 arrests per week, and they range from shoplifting to parole violations, all relatively minor offenses. The most significant was Mr. Walters, Dijon Walters. He was arrested for possession of Class B substance with intent to distribute. He was just released from jail. We covered him about a year and a half ago. He's one of the individuals that broke into a number of commercial establishments along Main Street. He was arrested. He was subsequently sentenced to a year. He got out. He's only been out for a relatively short time. Was picked up again. So he has to go back and serve the rest of his time, which I believe is another year and a half. And then the other significant incident, there was a fire at 174 Main Street, Hyannis, where the building had to be evacuated as a precautionary measure. But once the building was clear, the smoke was relatively minor in nature and confined to the kitchen area, one of the apartments, and everybody was allowed to go back into the building. So besides that, it was a pretty quiet week.
Great. Chief, I know we talked about this last week, but wanted to remind everyone just to be vigilant and be safe when they're doing their holiday shopping and even protecting their homes. Of course, this is the time of year when a lot of people are out buying things, going back and forth to cars, bringing things back into the home. So let's talk about a couple of things that people can do to make sure that they aren't targeted by potential thieves.
This time of year, we always have a spike in the shoplifting and the beanie motor vehicles, particularly around the malls areas. You have groups of individuals who purposely walk the parking lots, looking for vehicles that are chock full of holiday presents. So we caution everybody, make sure the cars are locked. If you have anything of value inside the passenger compartment of the vehicle, it should be moved to the trunk area and secured in the trunk area so it's not visible to the public. But, we do have extra patrols along Route 132, a lot of plainclothes officers down there, and we're just looking at the past B&E report for the last week, and we've only had 2 motor vehicle break-ins for the entire week, which is down significantly from the past number of years. So, but I would still, you have to be leery because that's what these individuals are looking for.
Indeed. And just one more thing, as we head into the winter, of course, we've had relatively mild temperatures, but I know that as we get into January and February, it is going to get colder. And of course, we do, again, unfortunately have that large number of homeless individuals living here in town. So concerns, I would imagine, will rise as the temperatures begin to fall.
That's always a concern for us. We're out there all the time looking for the camps. And actually, we just spoke with DPW yesterday and the Sheriff's Department, and we are going to go down there and move out a couple of camps along Old Colony, West Main Street, and North Street, Hyannis. That's starting to encroach certain neighborhoods. We've been getting a number of complaints from them. We've already gone down there, talked to the inhabitants, try to get them into the shelter, or try to hook them up to social services to get the services they need. But we will be moving some of the camps out on the 17th, December 17th. So we're going out there now. We're walking the woods, trying to identify all the camps, who's out there, let them know what's going on, let them know the services are available to them, but we're not going to allow them to stay in the camps.
Indeed. Well, Chief, I thank you so much, as always, for joining us here on Barnstable This Morning, and we will talk with you again next Tuesday. Have a great day.
Do you too.
Thanks so
much.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Chief of Police Paul MacDonald joining us as he does every Tuesday morning here on Barnstable This Morning. Going to head now into our community profile.